So our goals as the Angels Investment Group are get to a point in the near future, as soon as possible, would be great to then build a solid infrastructure in second and third world countries to provide them with places of education, places of residence, places to work, conduct business, places of healthcare, etc. So then they can build a sustainable economy which can then expand further, and those individuals, those communities have access to some the opportunities globally, nationally for them that everybody should have the access to.
As hard as it might be to believe sometimes, our world is still growing. And there are still so many chapters of this human history that are yet to be written. Second and third world countries are now developing at a steady pace. Their populations growing, their economies rising. But in order to facilitate the development of these countries, quality infrastructure is essential. And it is the mission of the Angels Investment Group to ensure that quality infrastructure is what these countries will receive. So, what does this look like?
So like I just mentioned, building places of residency, building modes of transport, roads, etc., train tracks, whatever is suitable, building places of worship, places of healthcare, I think I mentioned education facilities, and business centers, business communities, for them communities to then conduct the business in, express their talent, their expertise, provide solutions to community problems, and then grow and expand further, nationally and then internationally as well.
At its core, developing infrastructure within second and third world countries provides the local populace access to more opportunities and promotes economic growth. And both of these milestones directly pave the way to a higher quality of life.
So like I mentioned, like second and third world countries where there isn't or little to no infrastructure for anyone to conduct businesses in, where anyone to actually learn trades, learn expertise, and develop their knowledge and skills to then offer it to their community. Where there is a lack of resources, as simple as clean food, clean water, access to agriculture, etc. Now these kind of places, there's plenty of places around the world that are suffering with these consequences, with the lack of everything that I've just mentioned. So they are the kind of particulars that we would want to focus on. So the reason why it's important to me, because I think in our last initial documentary, maybe one of the first episodes that we ever did when we sat down and spoke about this, was because of the fact that if we're here for a purpose, while I'm here on this planet, my time that's spent here, I want to make sure that I give the most I can, give every blood, sweat and tear to make sure that anyone else, any individual has the same opportunities that I've had. So that's why it's important to me, because I want to make sure that I provide them opportunities for, anyone I can. And the reason why we're in real estate right now anyway is so we can become as knowledgeable, have a good network of individuals who are like-minded and who understand that this is the journey that we're going on. And the investors that we like to work with are somebody or individuals or institutions that understand that there's more to real estate, there's more to investing, there's more to life than just making the money, right? Okay, that is the bottom line, and that is something that's very, very important to everybody involved. And it's very important for us to actually get to that point. But without that determination to achieve that end goal, those clients that don't understand that, eventually we would get to a point where we would have to part ways. So ultimately, to begin with, we would like to start and maintain relationships with people who understand that core vision. So our next steps over the next couple of years are building a solid network within our own community and then externally as well, globally, to get to a point where when we are ready to make the move, when we are ready to go forward, we have the network there to be able to do so. Once we're able and once we know that we have the resources available to do something, figure out what the exact solution is for that particular country, for that particular area, right? What it is that they actually need. They might have suitable housing, but they don't have a mode of transport to get to the nearest city to conduct their work, etc. They might not have access to a good educational facility where they can, develop their skills and their knowledge, etc. So once we can get into the rooms with, the right political influence, the right local influence to be able to actually go in and physically make and build something. Once we've done that, then it's a matter of, okay, then we have to figure out what it is. Simple due diligence, right? Like we do right now on each property that we look at. It's just about doing the due diligence, figuring out where the problem is, and then providing the solution for that.
Due diligence on a larger scale, problem solving on a larger scale. The Angels Investment Group is aiming towards infrastructure development on a global scale.
You know, what is the most amount of value that I can give to our civilization, to be honest with you? I know it's a far stretch and a very bold statement to make, but nevertheless, I'm still going to make it.